Hi, good afternoon. I'm here with Rob Atkin from Pirta. How you doing, Rob?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. So you're co-founder of Pirta. If you
Correct.
could start us off as we normally do when we ask people on the business spotlight about a little bit more information around what exactly you do as a business and yourself within the company and how long you've been doing it for, please, Rob.
Sure. My dad and I started the company 3 years ago. We started working in his garage on a new product development. And the rationale behind the business was to develop technologies that were going to help companies reduce their reliance on air conditioning. And this was through passive cooling technology. Lots of people have heard of solar reflective paints, and this is similar to that, but it's like a very high performing solar reflective product. We partnered early on with Leeds University, who did a lot of our testing and characterization of materials and supported us in that capacity throughout the development project.
Yeah.
And then 3 years on, we're now in our own lab and have our own offices in Harrogate, and we have a commercialization team that's based out in the US. There's a much bigger market as solar gain is a much bigger pain point for lots of places in the US than it is in the UK. It's a much larger marketplace, and that's where we're springboarding the technology from.
Awesome. So how from what? So there's a few questions springing up in my mind around you being in your dad's garage, and what was the
Yes.
kind of spark for kind of coming up with this technology and solving this pain point?
Well, people have been painting the houses white for hundreds of thousands of years. It's well known
Yeah.
that light surfaces are cooler in the sun. But there was nothing that went beyond that. And we know that there are examples in nature where subambient cooling can be achieved. And that was our inspiration, was looking at different examples in nature and kind of using that as a inspiration from biomimicry so that we could create technologies that would not just help reduce heat buildup in buildings, but actually allow them to cool down when exposed to full sun. The most effective of these is silk. Silk has two defining properties. It's highly reflective, but it's also emissive, which allows it to lose its heat. And a silk cocoon can hang from a branch in full sun, and the inside of the cocoon can be 10 degrees C cooler on the inside than the ambient air surrounding it. So we knew that this was possible. So we wanted to create something that was environmentally friendly, water-based, low VOC, something that's going to be safe to use, safe to handle, but also be very effective. That's been quite a challenge, but over the last 3 years, we've managed to do that, and we're just about ready to go to market.
Right, fantastic. Sounds like a really exciting journey. So what was that kind of desire, I suppose, to create that? Where did that come from? What were you doing before? Did you see a gap in the market and just think, all right, we need to solve this? Or was it a developmental kind of process from what you were doing before? Or
Well, my previous company was an insulation company. So my dad has always worked in new product development and has a keen interest in chemistry and heat transfer and energy efficiency. So we decided to work together on producing this product. The tangible effects of climate change are becoming ever more felt. There's a lot of people are struggling with heat. It's becoming a real health problem. It's becoming a problem for all kinds of different industries, and it's really interesting when you talk to people about the technology, how many different applications can come out from this. But as a dad and as someone who's has a passion for developing new products, we felt it was very important that we use our skill sets to help do our bit towards mitigating the climate crisis. And when you look at things like urban heat island effect and the use of air conditioning as well, air conditioning is we don't use it much in the UK. Only about 5% of homes in the UK have air conditioning. But if you look at the US, where 90% of homes have air conditioning, it makes up for about 10% of global electricity demand, about 4% of global greenhouse gases, which is about twice as much as the entire aviation industry put together. So it's a huge problem. There's a lot of carbon emissions associated with that. So if by a simple passive process we can help reduce some of that reliance on air conditioning, we can help businesses and homes to reduce their carbon footprint and their energy savings, which saves money, but also it's a simple to apply technology that can help those who don't have access to air conditioning.
Yeah.
And
Brilliant. Well, the world needs people like you and your dad to be creating products like this, which is, you know, kind of one of the amazing things about entrepreneurship and product development to solve the issues that we have. So good on you for that. What does the future look like then for you guys? So you're at this point 3 years on. What are the challenges ahead, and what does the future look like?
Lots of challenges as a pre-revenue startup. We're starting to run pilots. We've got pilots running in various places out in America, that we're looking at pilots in Europe as well, and scaling up manufacture, and also preparing for the next stage of development. So we've got we want to keep R&D at the heart of everything that we do. We've got a very supportive commercialization team who are very keen on just letting us develop new technologies and helping us to have the resources in which to do that. So obviously it's very challenging as a new business to make those first tentative steps to making sales. So we've been going heavily through the approvals the process, and having our technology evaluated through third-party companies, so that we know that it's going to not just behave well as it's intended, but also have good life, be durable, and to stand up to the rigors of the real world. So it's going out there and just trying to find new customers, help people understand the benefits that our technology can bring to their businesses and their homes.
And how's it been funded in terms of sharing how you've been able to obviously develop and sort of get to this point and scale it out?
We were very lucky early on in the company to meet a VC who really got what we did and is passionate about it themselves. That is a chap called Scott Fleming, who's now our CEO. So he's working full time on building the company around the technology, and allowing us to use our skill sets, not to run the company, but to develop the new technology and let people who know how to run companies run the company.
Yeah.
So and we've got a fantastic team now, I'm glad to say.
Well, that's a massive thing in business that you've just shared there, and the ability to let people with the right skill sets do the right functions, and let other people with different skill sets get on with what they're good at, and
yes,
a harmonious kind of a team framework for the business to actually be able to operate, which is a really good share on that.
So that was a double win. That was we get someone who's helping to fund the company, and also and they've introduced us to a lot of other VCs who've helped to keep our running costs going whilst we look to scale up. We've had a lot of support from places like Innovate UK, who've helped grant fund projects for us to help with the developments. And also we've attended a couple of the GBIPs, so that's Global Business Innovation Programs. So a couple of I was last year I was in Singapore talking about our technology and finding opportunities in Singapore and Southeast Asia for this particular technology as well.
Fantastic. So moving on to yourself a bit more, and the kind of last 3 years, we like to ask, what's your business journey been like to date, in one word, and then sort of expand on that.
Roller coaster, I suppose. Like with developments and also similarly to starting a business, you have days that are fantastic, and you have days where you feel like you're racing downhill
Yeah.
towards destruction. So
Yeah.
and then you have another great day. So it's been very much like that. I'm glad to say things are starting to settle out now. So not for the want of trying. There's a lot with great team doing lots of hard work, working really hard to bring our vision to fruition. But yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of challenges. Um,
What
I
would you?
think that's
Sorry, go on.
uh,
Yeah, carry on.
so I think that's the same. You hear that from lots of entrepreneurs and people who started their own businesses. It's you have to be um, quite resilient to dealing with the challenges and getting back up and brushing yourself off after you've had some hard knocks. So that's what we've endeavoured to do and keep the focus and the vision of the company and what it could be as a constant inspiration and driving force for.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about asking you, well, how have you, I say, found going through that roller coaster journey? But you mentioned a couple of things there: resilience, and then having a vision, which is brilliant. You know, that kind of end goal and what you want to do with the company and the benefits that it can bring to the environment and all the things you mentioned earlier. So that's another sort of fantastic share. So what for you personally has been the biggest lesson then so far to date?
I think that the biggest lesson really is I've worked on like my insulation company that was essentially just me, but I think finding the right partners who share that vision and the passion for helping drive the business forward is really important. We were very lucky to do that, and I'm not sure what the company would have been like now if we hadn't met Scott and his brother Mike, who've helped. So I think that's really important. Is finding the right people
Sure.
to bring onto the team, and also that resilience, that just having tenacity to just go for it and
Yeah.
pick yourself up when you get knocked down and just keep going. And
That's it.
that can be quite difficult to continue that self-belief. Am I really doing the right thing? I must be bad. What am I doing? And you do have those days, but
you do, and it's part of it that you're attempting to be successful, because if it wasn't, then it be too easy and it wouldn't be a thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely not easy.
Yeah. And these things are meant to sort of test you in order to test the resilience and have you got the capacity to kind of deliver when it does be successful.
Yeah, and that's part of the learning process.
Yeah.
So you tend to learn a lot more when things go wrong. It's very much like developing a product. When everything's going wrong, that's when you really kind of analyze why it went wrong and what you can do and the measures that you can put in place to stop that happening again, and help make the business and the products as well when that happens better for it. And you always tend to come out of the other side of rough days stronger for it.
Brilliant. Another great share there, Rob. You're coming out with them all today.
And keep going all day.
Yeah. Lots of things that people will be able to take, I'm sure, in terms of reflecting on their business journey. So what's your inspiration? I mean, I can, from what you're saying earlier about the impact that the company and the products that you're developing can have, what is it that kind of gets you out of bed of a morning?
It's seeing what the products can do and the impact that this technology can have. It was really important for us to design technologies that can have a real tangible effect, a beneficial effect on people's lives. It's why the company is called Pirta. So that I'll just explain that a little bit more. So Pirta is an Inuit word for snowstorm. So we're looking at different words for kind of cooling. And we wanted to have a name like that because it represents that climate change affects those most who are least responsible for it. So it's important that we keep the ethos of the company to do good and to improve people's lives and to make the planet a better, more sustainable place. So that's the driving force for getting out of bed every morning, is to have a real positive impact on the world in quite terrifying circumstances. When you look at the global temperatures every year and the effects that's having, and you're seeing these terrible news stories every day, it's a real driving force, and that's something that we can use our skills to try and help with, to do our bit.
Sure thing. And in terms of going out and selling that vision, then it's something that concerns everybody. So it's a real powerful message, and the way you've incorporated that into the name of the company and the vision, it's really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So lastly then, in terms of sort of any latest news around what you guys are up to, I mean, you've shared it a fair bit, or even it's just a case of letting us know about your website, where anybody who may wish to get in touch can find you.
Sure, you can find us at pirta.com, and on there you'll see all the performance data and lots of information about our technology and what it can do, and there's a little video on there. But there's also an education section where we've got a really talented team of writers who are going out and looking at all kinds of different subjects where passive cooling can benefit and help mitigate problems.
Brilliant. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, Rob, and I wish you all the best for the future success of the business, and that it's around in a couple of 100 years' time doing what it needs to be doing and carrying on the legacy.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you very much.